Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mr. Guy, Board Game Geek, bringing you another kind of unboxing discussion, this time with something that newly arrived on my porch. It is The Walking Dead No Sanctuary, the board game Kickstarter edition. It includes 50 plastic miniatures, that's pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to crack this open, plus the 6 other boxes that came with it. I have no idea what's in here. So we're going to explore that. I did open this one up and take a gander at it just so I had some idea what the rules did and how it played out. It's, it's a scenario-based, campaign-based miniatures game with a lot of cool stuff. So anyway, this is after the television show, not the comic book. So it does model the television show and artwork style and storyline, which is fine for me because The Walking Dead is one of my favorite shows. My wife and I watch it faithfully. It's had its ups and downs, but it's overall been excellent and a lot of fun to watch. And so we're going to play the game. But this is probably, I have so many things right now. This is probably the next thing that's going on my table, along with the Kingdom Death Monster video. Now, if you didn't see the Darkest Night one that I'm posting before this one, I'm filming at my old table, but I brought some lighting down. I'm doing some difference. This kind of brought me back home to where I started years ago with this, where I was filming on the dining room table with an iPad and no lighting, just bad overhead lighting. With is bringing me back to the days. 800 videos later, close to it. I think it's a little over 830 or something like that. Here we are unboxing The Walking Dead. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to open up the box. This is, again, no Sanctuary. There are other versions of Walking Dead board games, but this is the one based on the hit television show. It is a cooperative game. So here we have the rulebook. You can see the main characters: Rick, Shane, Daryl, Merle, T-Dog, Dale, Glenn, and Andrea on the cover, because this is based kind of on the first season. And these were really the primary characters of the first season or so. Because then in the next season you got Maggie and the family on the farm and all that good stuff. So let's continue on and see what we got here. So the rules are really well laid out. I've read through the rules. It's not an overly complicated game. You're going to be playing a scenario. You're going to be playing on a board. And you're going to have objectives. All the characters. And the interesting thing about this one is they have a solo variant for it, but it seems to me like it would work best with multiple players because there's this leadership and trust and tension thing that goes on in the game. That's an interesting mechanic that I think you'd want to play with. Anyway, this shows what comes in the box, talks about a first scenario, the cards, and everything, how the cards work, and there's multiple types of cards for the players. It also shows you, gives you some examples of movement, the board play. I don't mind the text on white text on dark paper. It looks just fine to me. Shows you what the anatomy of a card is. That's one of Rick's cards right there. Let's see what else it shows. Shows the anatomy of dice over here. Then the turn phases. Again, it's not really a very complicated game from a gameplay standpoint, which I said in the Darkest Night the game video I just did. I like games that have rules that are relatively straightforward, but all the complexity is in the gameplay. The enjoyment of the gameplay, the strategy and nuance. This seems to be one of those. So then here are all of these scenario sheets. Now, the first one is the scenario sheet for the first one you should play is called Scavenger Run. I think there's one I thought it said, your starting one, but none of these do. So I'm assuming that's the one that they always showed was this Scavenger Run. So as you can see, now these are, I wish these were on slightly thicker paper, on the same printed paper as the rule book. So these have a potential of getting damaged, but they look good. It says No Sanctuary scenario number 1. Remember, this can be played. There's one standalone, but all the rest are in a series of 6 adventures. On one side, it shows you the setup. It shows you the map tiles where you place things and what the setup and story is. On the other side, it shows you some story milestones that you do to complete the the scenario and win. So, for example, in this one, you do a careful sweep. At least one survivor is outside. Resolve group tension. If each survivor is in a building with at least one barricade, advance to the next objective. And then you go on and so on and so forth down there. And there are several of these. And then there's a standalone one that is, I think it's 2-player, it's Daryl based, this ride one. And I don't know if that's based on his show ride or not, but remember he's got the motorcycle show, the actor. And then, so this is scenario 6, Scenario, and then somewhere in here, scenario 5. I think scenario 5 for Outlaws, and then here's some other cards associated with that. But basically, all the scenario sheets look the same. They look like that, and they were tucked inside the rulebook, so I left them where they were, so you could see that they were in there. And then you know, glossary, and then on the back is nothing. Now, I don't remember. I think that there's definitely a player aid in this, but the back of the box is just blank. And then you have the characters. Now, characters are interesting because they're two-sided, and like you're looking at Andrea's ally side right here. But opening these up, I'll show you this. They, depending on the players, there's always going to be 4 characters in the game. This has a similar thing to what I was talking about with Darkest Night. But if, let's say you have a 2-player game and you play Andrea. Well, this is your main character. This is who you're going to play. But let's say you want to also play Rick, but not as a main character. You can play him as your ally, so you'd have those 2 characters. And the other person would have a main character and then an ally. And the ally tells you kind of what they're going to do in the order and the cards that they have. Now, you can just play, to me, you could just play them all as, so just play them all straightforward as their characters, but the ally thing is meant to allow you to play multiple characters more easily. And again, excuse me, you have Andrea. And I noticed that these look like movie stills, but they're actually touched up art. There's art in them too. Like this one, they artistized, I guess, the stills from the movie. There's Rick, Daryl, and again these are season 1 characters. So Glenn, Merle, Dale, T-Dog, and then there's a scenario board that keeps track of your morale and your threat, and the event cards that happen and stuff that you get during the events. And then there's also this thing for Outlaws. I think that's one of the scenarios, and then this one's part of one of the scenarios as well. Those are the cards that, this is just the base game, remember. So I don't know what's in the other boxes. I haven't opened them up yet. I've only opened the base game. So I'm going to put these cards back, and then we'll look at further. Okay, so these are the tile boards. They're pretty straightforward. Like this one's a cityscape. This one is a forest with a tent on it. You can see, and I'm sorry, I'm getting the glare from the overhead light. You can see that, again, they're nice tiles. They're just kind of simple, which is okay. Cityscape tile, and there's more tiles in the other boxes, I believe. And then these ones. So the one side is kind of wilderness one, the other one's a cityscape, so on and so forth. And then you have the big CDC building one, which I think is probably the last part of the scenario. And there's the quarry lake where I think all the survivors were in the first season. And then you have the tokens, and I haven't punched any of them yet, but you can see there's 2 sheets of tokens there. I don't remember what all these do. I think these are like your trust tokens or whatever, and these are stress tokens, and these are, I don't remember what they are exactly. I have to read the rules. But you get the idea. Then there's all kinds of tokens that matter at different parts of the game. Then supplies, food, ammo, and I think just general supplies or objective supplies. I don't know. I haven't read all the rules yet, so don't quote me on anything I'm telling you right now. Then this is the insert. Now this insert's okay. It serves its purpose. On this side you have the miniatures, which we'll look at in a second, and then over here you have a space for all the cards. Now it does give you a space for each of the card decks. So like for instance, this is Andrea's card deck, and you can see there's green. I haven't shuffled them or anything. So green, yellow, and red cards that mean different things. These ones are, I don't know. I'd have to look them up, guys, to be honest. But they're different types of cards. These are coordinate cards, the green ones. The yellow ones are attack cards, and the red ones are interact cards. So, and they, based on what, I do know this, based on the event that your main character picks. Where's some events? Let's take a look. Here's, these are reference cards right here. And then there is a block of event cards. It must be, trying to find them. Let's see. Here they are. Here's some event cards. So you get to pick 2, right? You're going to get 2, and you're going to have to pick one. One you're going to neglect, and you're going to take the bad side. And the other one you're going to activate and take the good side. But whichever one you activate also determines the type of stance you're taking for that round. So, you know, this would be, we're taking an attack stance for that round. Now, if anybody else goes against the leader who picked that and picks a different color one, there's stress that applies to the leader, causes problems. Interesting mechanic. I like it. Okay, and then, so again, each of the characters, and there's a slot for each of the characters in the box. Here's Rick's cards. They all have different effects and do different things, but we can go over that in another time when I do the playthrough, because we've got a lot of stuff to look at in here. And then there's dice. These are special dice that have different effects on them. These are the stress dice. These are bad, and these are the good dice. I think there's a success. I can't remember. If you have tokens like this, you can flip these. I can't remember what it's called, but you can flip those to a success, aka Eldritch Horror and other games like that, where you can swap over things. Mansions of Madness, you can use a clue to make a success out of a clue symbol. And then you got the minis, the many minis. And we'll take a look at a couple of these. I haven't opened them yet. So I see one we're going to look at right away. Let me pop the tape off of these. We're going to take a look at Daryl on his motorcycle. There we go. Here's Daryl on his motorcycle. These are nice minis. Like I've said in other ones, they're not like the quality of like a Simon Blood Rage or Mythic Battles Pantheon or anything, but they're good miniatures for the game. These are high enough quality miniatures for a board game for sure. Not begging to be painted, but it would be nice if they're painted. And then up here you have the heroes. You got Dale, and then Andrea, Glenn, Rick, Daryl, and Merle right there. And then, of course, the rest of them are zombies, and yeah, you got the zombie figures, etc. And here's some zombies right there. Walkers that are going to be, or biters as some of the other groups call them. They're called by different things. So that's what comes in the base game. And then these are objective cards, and you can see resource cards, things that you draw, and other things. And then these are, I don't know what these are for. I have no idea. These map cards, well, they're map cards, but I don't know what they mean. So I have to play the game to find out, or read the rules at least. I only glanced over the rules just to get an idea conceptually of how the game plays. So I did do that, and that's where we're at. So that is the main box, but I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to get into some of these plain white wrapped boxes that we have that are going to show us what came with the Kickstarter and the rest of the game, because this was just the base box. So let's take a look at that. So once again, I really don't know what is in these boxes, but here's one of them. So we're going to open it up and see what's in this. This is, again, one of the Kickstarter boxes that came. And, you know, I'm not going to go over with you what I pledged, or what the pledge was that I had or anything. I don't remember. In fact, and I think I got extra stuff out of the kindness of their hearts. I don't know. But, you know, my days of Kickstarting are at an end anyway. But looks like miniatures, more minis. What do we got here with the... Oh, okay. So these are set pieces for the miniatures. There's rubble, looks like, and then water towers, or these might be those spikes that they put up. I don't know if you remember in some of the shows they put up these spikes. Yeah, they're like cable, things that you wrap big cables around with spikes on them that the zombies could walk into. They're like barricade traps. So I guess those are like barricades. So that's all that's in this box, are those little rubble counters and barricades. So that's one of them, but we got a lot more to go. We got this big in here. I think this is the primary box that has most of the Kickstarter stuff in it. So let us unseal that, see what's in here. Again, like there wasn't much to see in the other box, and I don't know, you know, there's I don't know what I don't remember any of the stretch goals and everything. It's been a long time coming. And so here's what we have in this box. Looks like we have some, the Woodbury scenarios. Okay, interesting. So there's Woodbury, and it just has the scenario special rules. And then you got Fort Benning. Okay, so this is going to take you kind of into the next season a bit. Yeah, Fort Benning, Made to Suffer. There's another Fort Benning 1 scenario special rules. Fort Benning B, Woodbury area PvP arena. So there's a PvP arena in here. And so this has a lot to do with the RV, Fort Benning RV special rules. And then we're going to get some new characters. I see Sasha, that's a good one. And here's the RV. So there's a token for the RV. And then let's see who we get in here. We're going to have some new characters added in this one. And I don't think it matters. I think you could go back and, I mean, it wouldn't make as much sense from the chronology of the story, but I don't think it prohibits you from not playing these characters in the other scenarios. So you have Sasha. There's the governor. He can be a character. That's interesting. So in this one, he's still, but there's two. There's the governor rival and the governor good guy, or somewhat good guy. And then Morgan comes into play here. A Woodbury resident. Okay. and then Glenn and Maggie as a character. So that's a rival sheet. Okay, so these are rival sheets. There's something to do. I don't know what the rival rules are at all. So we're going to just skip on that, but you know that these are extra sheets that came in the Kickstarter, plus there's these lots of extra tiles in here. I think there's a PvP element that you can just bash each other's heads in. More cityscape tiles. Here's an indoor, like a house tile. Roads, empty road spaces. More inside tiles. This looks like a street in Woodbury, perhaps. Yeah, it looks like another street in Woodbury. These last ones I can tell are part of that PvP arena because I saw the map. So then you got that PvP arena, and then you see there's PvP characters. There's an armory. There's a couple of. I see that there's Daryl's RV, and then the accessories for Daryl's RV, which is kind of interesting. You got the bloated walker, the one they pulled out of the well. And then some other folks here. It looks like, I don't know what the characters are, but some half-destroyed walkers. I'm sure there's some rules for those. And then some additional cards for the PvP characters, and probably the cards for the other characters in the game. So I again have to read all of these, but that is this expansion box here, which is unlabeled, but apparently has PvE stuff and things for Woodbury and the Governor. So let's go on to the next box. So in that last box, there was 3 characters, basically, from what I could tell. This one's easy to open, so I don't need to do anything. So there's 3 new characters. There was Sasha, not her brother, which is interesting because her brother was a much bigger character in the comic series. Came in later in the books, in the TV series, but did come in with his sister, so I was surprised to see that that's not the case. And there's stuff in here, but I don't know what it is. Let's see what we get in this one. Days gone by, so we got some more scenarios, it looks like. A standalone scenario, and then a couple more tiles. This looks like the hospital where Rick was. This is probably a solo scenario for Rick. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, it is. It's just a solo scenario for Rick, and then there's another one that's not. Controlling 3 or 4 strength players. And then there's, the survivor wounded Rick, and there he is on his crutches. So that must have been an expansion piece. Let's take a look at this miniature of Rick on his crutches. There he is. Or not on his crutches, but in his hospital gown coming out of the hospital, because that's the way he looked when he first came out. And then there's the deck of cards that on your own that are specific to this scenario. So that's, maybe I'll do that one for the playthrough. That would be interesting, right? The Rick standalone playthrough scenario. That's all that's in this box right here. 2 more boxes to go. Okay, well, in order of things, it looks like this would be the next box. This is the official expansions, No Sanctuary, What Lies Ahead expansion. You can see, I can't remember all, Maggie, of course, and then there's her family. I'm trying to remember all their names. One of the most tragic, no, I won't ruin it for you. Anyway, 2 of the most tragic parts of the series were with those 2 characters. Let me open that up real quick. We'll see what's in there. So this is going to take you into the, basically, I want to say season 2, but it looks like there's some Woodbury stuff in the other one, so it's hard to say. Anyway, yeah, so the so we have some more scenarios beside the dying fire. It looks like there's the farmhouse scenario, trigger finger. So there's, wow, there's 4 scenarios in this one, looks like. 4 linked scenarios. Anyway, might be more. This one says What Lies Ahead special expansion rules, and then there's 4 separate new scenarios with that. Some separate cards, and then you got Otis. Oh, I remember Otis accidentally shot Carl, and if you're not watching it, I don't want to spoil too much for you, but this also has some rival characters, but I want to see what the main characters are they have, because this is going to be Otis. Herschel, man, that was rough. Maggie is probably one of my favorite characters in the show. She's become super tough. And Beth, right? Beth, and that was she was real close with Daryl. Daryl treated her like an older brother. And then the crew, which, like I said, I'm not going to ruin any of that for you. You'll just have to see it. But let's continue on. So we're going to take a look at there. It looks like there's some, again, more tiles that are associated with this, and then more miniatures. There's some walkers, and of course the cards for the various characters. And these tiles have, that's the school where I think it was Shane and Otis get trapped in the school. I think, and then Rick and Shane go back here, I believe. if I remember the story right. That's the farmhouse, the house near the farm, and then the barn right there at the farm, and the city that they did a lot of searching in. And then you can see that the characters are up here. You've got Otis right there. That looks like, I think that's Maggie. That's Beth, Herschel, Maggie, and Otis right there as new characters that you can play. So that'd be a lot of fun. And again, I'm a fan of the show, so I do know most of these characters and what befell them and everything, so it's interesting. And we've got one more to go. I'm trying to hurry this up so it's not too long a video, but we'll get right to it. And last but not least for my set of stuff, we also have the Killer Within expansion, which you can see as Carol, Tyrese, Carl, and Michonne. Carl! And Michonne in the prison. So this would be kind of like I guess the formal post-Woodbury. Here's the infection. This is probably the one with the flu. They got the flu in the prison. Killer Within. Yeah, somebody killed somebody in the. Yeah, they're sick. Yeah. So this deals with the season. I think it's season 3. Yeah, directly into season 3. There's some special rules for that. I'm not going to get any of the special rules. And of course we have Michonne, who's one of the best characters in this series. These breach tokens, which means that you get to play the invasion probably of the prison with the governor. Again, I don't want to spoil that. There's some more Walker miniatures and some Thug miniatures. And let's see who we got. We got the characters up here. So there's Michonne. Tyrese right there. Carl. I don't recognize the other two. So we're going to have to take a look at the other two. I don't recognize them by the miniatures, but I'm sure I will by their cards. And then, of course, there's these rivals. I guess the rival sheet is for PvP, I'm guessing, or some kind of one versus many rules. I haven't looked at the rules yet. But anyway, there's Michonne as she's got a strength of 3, interaction of 1, social of 2. She's a survivor. She's an awesome character in the series. Michonne, katana wielding, awesome, bad, you know what. Tyrese, he's Tyrese. That's Sasha's brother. That's why I was surprised that Sasha was in the other expansion there. I guess she was an expansion character. And then Carol should be a main character. I mean, Carol is a main character. She's a main character in this one, but I guess because in the first season or 2, she really went through a transformation and really wasn't this is Carol until later in the series. And then, of course, Carl, who is the young son of Rick, who's not so young anymore. And then you have the prisoners. Okay, the prisoners. That makes sense. Those guys are the prisoners. And so basically, yeah, those are the characters that you get to play in the scenarios. And it looks like each expansion takes you through a season, a new season of The Walking Dead. Again, based on the TV show. Things happen quite differently with different characters in the comic book. And I'm glad they do that because it keeps it fresh if you did read the comic book. And I assume all the cards are going to be the same. And I do not know how the rivals work, but that's all the stuff that's in there, guys. So I'm going to leave it off here. Let's take a look at these tiles. I think these are the prison tiles. It would make sense. Yeah. And I don't know how they all go together. I'm just showing them to you. Yeah, there's the fields outside the prison and the fence where this is the prison. So I guess a lot happens to defend the prison from bad stuff, walkers, the governor, anything else that might come along. And so that'll be interesting to play because the prison that was one of the better seasons, I think. Of course, the new ones against Negan. I want to see if they get to expansions with those, or if the game peters out by then as far as expansions are concerned. I doubt it will. It's a huge game. We'll see. It looks like Cryptozoic did right. The miniatures look nice. The gameplay, I read enough of the gameplay to understand how it works. It looks like good gameplay. I'll tell you when we do the scenario. We'll see how it goes, because that will be the next thing I do, I believe. Of course, I'm still running my Kingdom Death Monster scenario. I'm starting to do the next showdown phase for Lantern Year 8, so keep up with that. Also, by all means, please subscribe, like, share this out to other people, let people know about my channel. I appreciate that. And also, go become a patron. I give away games. I'm about to do a channel update where I'm going to have some game giveaways for patrons, people who support me, and I'm going to establish some new rules for the patrons, how they get to the game giveaways and things like that. And I appreciate all that you do. So guys, take care, and I will talk to you in the next video.